Epic Gaming Night is sponsored by Tasty Minstrel Games. Make sure to check out the Tasty Minstrel podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. This podcast is made possible by the support of patrons like you. Thanks for your support. Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Cannon, and with me as always is Matt.
I hope my mic's unmuted because Skype won't let me know if it is or not.
It is! Congratulations.
Hey, perfect.
And Rob.
Hello. Hello.
I always love the interesting segues when I don't say hello and Rob just like, hello.
He's like,
We used to do it where Matt was like, hello, and I'd be like, hello.
Hello.
A lot has changed, guys. We're not the same anymore.
We've all changed. Everything's different. It's a brave new world. It's kind of funny because Darth Grader said this is titled episode 0.3 because we're going to talk about some of the same stuff we talked in our very first episode we ever made, and just kind of like give people a rundown on what Epic Gaming Night is. If this is the first time you're ever tuning into the podcast, welcome. Or if you're veterans like Darth and Adam and Ashley and
Ashley's
Liz,
amazing. She's in Australia right now listening while at work.
then
She's a beast.
Then yeah. It's kind of funny because Darth said, does the 3.0 mean that the podcast tonight is only Roy's hair, Rob's beard, and Matt's man bun? And Matt was like, oh, we should just zoom in on like different...
Yeah, I was getting close.
Man.
Nice. But yeah, we got a lot of things we're going to talk about tonight. But one of the main things I want to talk about is what is Epic Gaming Night? If we had to describe this podcast... what is it? What do you guys think?
It's a podcast about board games.
Two guys who don't have AC. That's no, I'm just kidding.
Two guys that don't have AC. Three guys that survived the hurricane.
Yeah.
And no, it's more than just board games. It's the stories that come with the board games, right? It's okay, we played this game, but do you remember that really douche thing that the other guy did? That was amazing. Like the backstabbing thing. Like that was awesome.
Crazy epic moment that happened.
There's so many shows that talk about the mechanics of games, and we go over that, but we want to talk about like how many friendships were ruined over that game when it was played.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I love about our podcast is the fact that, hey, we're here to talk about games, but we're also like to banter and talk about the fun part of games. You know, it's not just like, oh, you push this cube there, oh, you've got this cool miniature, or oh, this mechanic does this, you roll this dice and the attack does this much damage, whatever. It's like, oh man, remember that time when Matt did that crazy thing and like saved the day and rescued everybody and all that.
Or that time that Roy totally betrayed AJ and they're supposed to be allies. And Rex, and it was supposed to happen.
Do anything like that.
You'll never live that down. That is one of my favorite game nights of all time.
I can go. It's kind of crazy because I can play social deduction games with anybody now, and if they listen to the podcast, they immediately distrust me because the meme that Rob has created through the podcast.
First of all, if you are listening and you do play with Roy, you're making the right decision by not trusting him. He is literally a wolf in sheep's clothing. And if he's not a wolf, he's just a bad sheep. Don't trust
It's so
him.
funny because I've played enough social deduction games with Rob now that if he's accusing me really hard, I know he's normally good. Like, I'm like, if Rob is just tearing me down and he's like really mad at me, like, Roy, I don't trust you. I don't trust you a bit. What are you doing over there? You're so sneaky. I'm like, Rob is trying really hard and he doesn't trust me at all. He's doing it. But if he like just is more chill and laid back and isn't directly accusing me aggressively, I'm like, Rob is probably actually bad.
Duly noted. We'll now change that strategy.
I know, but I never implement it well enough because like even like the last time we played like Deception back at Dice Tower Con, I was like, Rob isn't accusing me as much as he would, normally. Normally, Rob would be like, everybody
However, though,
look at
in my
Roy.
defense, we were playing, I think, with like 13
I
players.
know.
We were almost at the max count. There were I think I like
Are you going to say
deception
that
at
13
7
players,
to 10.
13 players are going to get in your way of calling me out? 13 players?
he
Only
didn't
13
have to,
players?
'cause that
It's
whole other
hard
half of the
because
table
when you
was
have that many
different.
people, there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I would not want to be the forensic scientist in a 10 and like at 11 or more.
Yeah,
Like I think 10 is my max because like
Yeah, it's
even
hard.
Emerson,
It's
freaking
hard.
Emerson Matsuchi was struggling. He was like, like
There's
it's
a lot of
not
stuff
that
out
you want to
here.
directly pinpoint it, but it was just so much. It made it easy to be the bad guy.
And another thing about the podcast is we often go down these awesome rabbit trails and talk about all sorts of different stuff just based on whatever subject that we get led into. And I don't know. I think that's fun to just carry the train of thought to wherever it takes,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Parawapsi and Apawapsi,
Yeah,
space, time travel.
maybe chat can help us out with this. But if you had to describe Epic Gaming Night in one word, what would it be? What do you think? Chat, throw out what in one word you would use to describe Epic Gaming Night. Darth is obviously going to say hair because that's what all he thinks we are. No, I'm just kidding. Facial hair, top of head hair.
I don't know, man. One word.
Epic.
But I know us, so I would not say that.
we're too goofy to be epic.
Right? Like outside of the games we play, I know us, and so it's like,
Yeah. I think fun could be a good word because we try to have fun with it. We have all this silly banter. We have all the crazy stuff that goes on, and everybody who comes on the podcast, we have like guests quite often, like from different publishers and everything
Yeah.
like that. It's just like chill and laid back and fun, and everybody's like, "Oh man, that was really fun. It was cool to just like be able to come on a podcast where you can just talk, and you don't have
yeah,
to,
and we're not trying to take life seriously.
And I mean,
I think laid back is like
another good one. Yeah.
is another good one. Matt, man, is anybody free Friday night? Are you working, Roy?
I mean, I don't know how late I'm working. How late are you talking?
I had all these games come in that I want to play really bad.
Yeah. I just come
The
to your
Village
house straight
Attacks
after
came in.
work. After work.
The Western game came in. Tiny Epic Zombies came in. Hail Hydra came in. Another game. I mean, I had like 4 or 5 games come in this week, man. And it's just like, bro, like I want to play these games. Like, let's all get together.
Nice.
Are you available, Matt?
Liz says that hilarity is the one word to describe us.
I'll be out of town. If you would have asked me earlier today, I would have been able to do it. But I have to go help other stores that were on the coast that are now flooded.
Hey, that's amazing, man. Don't feel bad. How about this? Let's set up like a day, like
Absolutely.
one day where we just like make a thing, and we can even do the old crew. We invite Hector and AJ and Ryan, and we just play games.
I'm
Western
down.
Legends.
I do want to play Charterstone with all 6 of us.
Man,
I've specifically not taken it out of Shrink because I'm like, that's the game I want to play with all 6 of us because I think it would be a good time. But it's just, I don't know. Roy said the 13th we're gonna do Werewolf Legacy, right?
Yeah.
October 13th, right?
Yeah. So I requested that off, so I will definitively be there.
And we have a solid lineup of people coming now too. So
have
I'm
you
pretty
seen
stoked.
the movie The Ritual on Netflix?
No.
Matt,
Is
it's a
that the one
scary
that's out?
movie, but I think it's not that scary. It's really not scary, but I think you'll like it.
Does it remind you of
Is that the-
Werewolf?
It's like Norwegian themed, sort of out in the woods.
It's out in the woods. It's a couple British guys, but they go on a hiking trail that's in between Norway and Sweden. But
Yeah.
I'll just say this. The monster they encounter is a demigod offspring of Loki.
Okay.
And it's an actual monster that they encounter.
Nice.
And I was like, bro, all right. Viking, Norwegian mythology type of craziness. Matt likes to hike. Like, this could encourage him to stay inside more often. Matt, you need to see this, man.
I only need to swell in size. I like it.
Yeah. Side note, Ashley, you need to tell your husband to get painting. Only 2 minis being done for Gloomhaven is not enough. You need to tell your husband, like, look, babe, if you want to spend more time with me, you need to paint more.
Another cool thing about the podcast is we do stream these live on YouTube. So if you want to check these out at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night, if you're listening to this on the audio iTunes feed or our RSS feed, we stream these live on Tuesday and we banter with the chat. We've already talked to the chat a whole bunch of different times. It's just cool to be able to stream these live with a bunch of different people and hang out, and we get to see a whole bunch of the same people like every week. So
chat. And plus half the time the chat is far more eloquent and witty than we are, so we can steal their jokes and then credit them once we've basked in that glory for a brief moment.
Yeah. We talked
Liz,
about
you're funny.
We talked about Root last week, and David saying that he wants to play Root, but it's so hard to get a hold of. And I'm like, Root won our Patreon giveaway and review, but I have to wait till I can actually get a hold of a copy. I haven't been able to find it. And I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be a good game, but it's like, it's not a good game for the amount of price that people want it on eBay, and it'll be inexpensive once it's actually out. But
I think it'll be inexpensive once people start to play it and they'll realize, oh, I overpaid for this.
Oh no, Rob's a hater. So hey, we can do that first.
I mean, how about this? I played it once. I was not that impressed. I want to play again. But yeah, I didn't get all the hype.
Have you seen Root, Matt?
Yeah, I saw it when it was still a Kickstarter, and I was like,
I love the theme.
I was like, yeah, I like the art, I like the theme, but I just didn't. I don't know. Something about it didn't catch me, so I didn't even bother to read the rules or see how the game played. And I was like, well, it'll come out, and then if I need to get it, then I'll get it then. And then I've just seen stuff on it literally everywhere. Like everybody's like Root, and I'm like, okay.
It's a pretty game, Matt. It really is. I love the idea and the theme behind it. Mm-hmm. But everybody I've talked to that has played it, every game, and this is like 10 plus games, right, of people that have played the game, the cats have won 90% of the games.
Okay.
It's 4 factions, and it's just like, okay, I can totally see that happening after now having played it. I just don't know how balanced.
It's made by the same people who do Vast, but I think it's a very different game than Vast. Vast is like you're doing all sorts of completely different stuff. You're doing completely different stuff too, but this is all like area control. So, I mean, just the fact that there's still very different stuff because like the raccoon's trying to trade stuff with people, and then the cats are trying to do their own thing. It's still it has that same feel of everything doing different stuff, but. Yeah. You're all like on a board doing area control and stuff like that. And the other one, like somebody's actually the cave, like trying to crush people or make the game go on for a certain amount of time or whatever. So
yeah,
good times. I heard it's a lot easier to teach than Vast is, so that's good. Cool.
Sweet.
Awesome. Well, I guess we're gonna talk a little bit about news stuff. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a Nintendo Direct that just happened, and they talked about Nintendo Switch games, and one of the things they talked about is that there's several board games coming to Switch. I think we had already talked a little bit about Carcassone's coming to Switch, but now also Pandemic and the Lord of the Rings Living Card game are coming to Switch, which
that's kind of cool.
Which is kind of crazy. Like Lord of the Rings Living Card game is awesome. I don't think either of you guys have actually played it, but
isn't that Fantasy Flight?
Yeah. So
man, they have their stuff and everything.
So I'm actually super excited that I knew that it was coming to Steam, and Steam's cool, but like I'm not always like sitting at my computer. But the fact that I could play like Lord of the Rings Living Card game on the go on the Switch is kind of crazy. And they also announced that Catan and Munchkin is going to be coming to it as well. So,
which makes sense.
Yeah, it's mostly just
right.
Super they're
both huge.
Yeah.
We don't like Munchkin just because it's one of those, it's cute and fun until somebody gets almost to winning, and then it's just kill that person until somebody has enough good cards to defend themselves.
I've seen too many games in with somebody drawing a potted plant, and the only reason they won was just because they drew it. Dang it, every time.
So in Catan, that's just, it's still like the number one selling board game.
Which is crazy.
It's just like ridiculous, the numbers.
Yeah.
Which I don't think those are actual numbers. I think that's like Walmart and Target buying like 10,000 copies and distributing through the stores, which it's still numbers, right? Like that company still sold that many units, and then
for sure.
So like They still did it, but I don't think just millions of people are buying Catan on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Anyway,
who knows? I don't see them going on clearance unless it's the Game of Thrones version, like Matt got. But
Yeah.
but
oh, you got that, Matt?
Yeah.
Have you played it?
Like $20. No, it's still in stream.
Right.
that's
Like
how
everything
Matt
else,
do.
it's in
That's how
stream.
Matt do.
Man, I'm about to start selling some more stuff. You know what? I was thinking about selling some of my Zombicide stuff. Is that a
What?
sin?
Ooh,
Well, like
He's-
my
The
weird.
sun is
not
setting on an
the
era.
Green Horde stuff, not the Green Horde, but like,
Zombie side?
yeah, like my original. But I have a lot of it. I mean, there's a lot.
I bet you
there.
a bunch of it is worth some money too at this point. If there's
Well, I
actually
mean,
people that
yeah,
want it.
I've got. I don't have all of them, but I have a lot of the special characters,
Mm-hmm.
and like I have the dogs and like the special boards. I have all 3 seasons, season 1, 2, and 3, and the expansions and stuff that came with them. So I was thinking about it because I also have Zombicide Invader coming in, and I have all of the Green Horde stuff. And if I were to choose right now which one to play with, I'd rather play with the Black Plague Green Horde just because of the trebuchet and the ballista and like the huge dragons. Like to me, that's just like I want to play with the big minis, and those are I can't bring in the dragons and the ballista into season 1 and season 2 and 3. So that's why I'm just like, man, like, do I need 4? I think it's of Zombicide stuff now. I have 14 different boxes or something like that of Zombicides.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot.
So
And I have more coming because I got some of the special stuff for Zombicide Invader.
oh,
so
that's
it's like-
crazy.
Yeah, that's 14 that I currently have in my house. Not,
Oh yeah, I forgot that you'd backed all the Invader stuff too. So,
bro, I love Zombicide.
that's why I'm shocked that you would say you would get rid of anything because I thought you pretty much had a complete collection, right?
But if I'm not going to play it, though, like, what's the thing? Right? Like, I still love it. But if I'm not going to play it.
It's just the extra minis, I guess, right?
That's the thing
just
for me. It's like, I mean, it's not necessarily whether I will play the game. It's like, do I want to play with this stuff? If there's certain stuff that you're just like, I don't really want to play with that, I'd just be like, okay, I don't need that, you know?
Yeah.
But if it's like, well, I still really want to play this, so.
Well, I enjoy playing it. In fact,
If it's like, I would always pick Black Plague over this, then I would definitely be like, okay.
I'm doing
it.
that now because Green Horde came in.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I had Black Plague, and the last time I played Zombicide was Season 3, which was the Angry Neighbors one with friends, and I had Black Plague on site. I like the equipment on the regular Zombicide, like some of the red stuff, like there's a lightsaber. I just think that's cheesy and cool, and like the double chainsaws. But now that Green Horde is in, I'm like, I would rather play with these crazy dragons, and I want to play with the Stranger Things kids.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't care about anything else. I just want to Lego my ego.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. I would probably also rather play Black Plague and Green Horde entirely just because of the expansions and like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Since it's fantasy, they can take far more liberties with what they do, right? So they're like, oh yeah, dragons and werewolves and all these crazy things. Yeah, cool. And then you can have characters where it's like, there's a dwarf riding a giant, and then there's just like an actual like legit giant. And you're like, these are people you can play. And it's like, that's great.
And you
That's
can
awesome.
be a giant in Green Horde as a good character.
That's awesome.
It's so
That character's freaking huge. Have you seen him, Matt?
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because you got it. Man, it is an awesome figure. I want to play just with him. Man,
There was an expansion, or not like an expansion, but one of those little character packs, you know, that have like 4 little guys in it that I bought entirely because it's just one dude riding another guy, and the other guy's kind of bigger. And I was like, yeah, no, this is it. And like the neat thing about him is you can play him, like one person can play both people, or one person can play the guy on top, and one person can play the guy who's walking
Really?
around. And I'm like, yeah.
That's
That is so
crazy.
I was like,
And
that's
they just
awesome.
move together?
Yeah.
That's
See,
awesome.
that's what I want to do. Like, if we do a game day, I almost want to have it where it's already like pre-planed out games. Because I think if we did the rules right, Roy, and we all played it, it'd just be a fun button smasher type of game.
I mean,
where
I
it's
don't
like,
mind
all right,
Black Plague, so it's pretty cool.
it'd be
Especially
cool.
when I see the the cool miniatures. I mean, the cool miniatures from the Green Horde stuff are kind of the reason why I'm like, Song of Ice and Fire could have so much cooler stuff in it. Just seeing those dragons and stuff like that, it's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
But it's coming.
I know it's got to be coming.
Listen, if you listen to our podcast, there are times where we have guests on the show and they tell us stuff after the show that we're not allowed to repeat. And so I'm not going to tell you what he told us, but if you're a fan of Song of Ice and Fire, I will tell you it's coming. That's all I'm going to say is it's coming.
He did talk about they have a lot of stuff planned.
What was I going to say?
A lot of stuff planned.
A lot of stuff planned. Like if you think what's already out and what's already been announced, not even out. If you think what's out and already been announced is a good fair amount of stuff, nothing compared to what they have planned.
Oh, yeah,
so
it's so crazy. What was I going to say?
Sorry.
Oh,
this is our show.
News. So Matt also wanted me to add in, there's a Kickstarter for Horizon Zero Dawn, which was a video game. Have you actually played Horizon Zero Dawn, Matt?
Yes.
Take it away.
I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a game where you're playing a tribal outcast in a sort of post-apocalyptic world, and you're, I don't know, in this old sort of tribe setting that reminds you of various native or aboriginal cultures, and you're like, yeah, cool. And then you go outside, and then all the animals are made out of robot parts. Like, they're just straight up robots. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And you get to explore this interesting world where clearly there was an advanced society that fell, and now there are just animal robots roaming around doing things, and you're trying to navigate this interesting world. But now it is a miniatures board game.
Yes, and it looks great.
It does. It's a bit on the pricey side, like all miniature board games. But you know, it's
there's 9 days left.
If you're into that, it's definitely really cool. Like the mini sculpts look fantastic.
I love like all the little robot monster stuff. Like it's just ridiculously looking good.
It's crazy.
I hope the game's really good, but I think the way it looks set up is really cool.
I haven't yet. I'm waiting because it's a significant chunk of change if you want to.
And it doesn't come out till March of 2020.
Yeah, well.
Oh man.
I will say this though.
That's fine. I'll still have stuff for Kingdom Death coming in around the same time, so it'll be okay.
Like I had a few.
And it'll still all be on sprues.
And my wife's like, "Why are you ordering all these games right now?" Like and I was like, "Babe, I paid for these over a year ago. Like, it's just Christmas this week for me. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to do this, but yeah, I had Tiny Epic Zombies, Village Attacks, and I need to post my pictures of Village Attacks, and Western Legends all come in within 48 hours of each other. And I was like, yes!
That's awesome.
So, we need to, anyway.
Tis the time.
The
game was good, though? The video game was good, Matt?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I haven't finished it yet, because it's one of those open world games where you're sort of walking around, and it kind of pulls a bit from like Assassin's Creed and like a lot of modern games like Far Cry, where you have to go up the tower and then it sort of unlocks part of the map and you can see stuff. And,
yeah.
It's really neat. So.
Sweet, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I was curious if you guys had talked about it last week or not, because I was like, that might be
No, we didn't talk about it, but I did see it like a couple weeks ago. I think when it first launched, I got like an email.
Nice.
Like, hey, check out this new Kickstarter. And I put it on my likes, but I haven't backed it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Tales from the Loop is having more content added to it. Matt was talking about.
Yeah. So there's a new core book that's coming out for Tales of the Loop. The sort of Stranger Things-esque role-playing game that's set in Sweden. So this new one is called Things from the Flood, which is kind of interesting. They're all based on sort of art books by the main guy who does all of the artwork. So this one moves the timetable up to like around 1994. So instead of being in the 80s, it's set a little bit closer to where we are now. And then you play basically the same kids, but they're a little bit older and starting to get into that teenage years sort of stuff. So it's pretty cool looking. The thing that I really like Because I was looking at it, I was like, oh man, yeah, I'll have to back this or something because it's like $20 for the core book or whatever. It's like I'll just get it and add it to the other one. But they were like, hey, if you backed Tales from the Loop, you'll just get this one for free, like a PDF of it. And they're like, you can still back it if you want to and get like a physical copy, but we'll just give you the PDF for free. And I was like,
that's actually amazing.
Awesome. I was like, that's super cool. So I'm hyped for that. So
when are we gonna play Kids on Bikes?
I made my character. It's over there. My character sheet's like under my table. So.
We're gonna play all the games. I was thinking about one day we'll just have Tales of Misplaced Meeples, and it's like, all right, everybody fell asleep, and then in the dream world,
right?
Just have a Kids on Bikes one shot just in the middle of it.
Did.
You wake up wondering what a camera is.
Nice.
Why not do that? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, man.
Maybe
nice.
Like in between season. Cool. So, hey, has anybody been playing anything? What have we been playing, guys?
I've been playing, but just not board games.
Lots of Spider-Man.
Bro, this Spider-Man game is ridiculous, man.
I heard a lot of good things. Everybody keeps talking about it.
I'm loving it, and so I sent my wife and my kids away for the hurricane.
So you can be Spider-Man.
Well, it wasn't for that. This was our first hurricane ever, right? Because we moved from out of state. And they were like, it's going to be really bad. It's going to be really bad. So we were really lucky and blessed.
And there was actually some flooding, like in North Carolina and like different.
No,
areas,
it was
like,
terrible. Over 30 people have died from the hurricane. It has not been a good thing. Like, I think the head count up now is like up to 32 deaths.
Yeah.
So it's a terrible thing. Thoughts and prayers and all that stuff to all the people affected. And I know I've got some friends and I were like looking at donations and going down there to help rebuild some stuff. But anyway. So I was freaked out. I was like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. And they're saying it's going to be really bad. So I sent my family away because my basement floods, like after a bad thunderstorm. And, or it doesn't flood, but it gets like water in it. And so I played Spider-Man, and I'm still playing Spider-Man, and I still haven't beaten it. Like, that's how much content is in the game. And I played for like 2 or 3 days where, now I'd take that back. I played for, I think, 2 days because the first day, they were gone. I just watched Iron Fist season 2. Like, I just watched the whole.
Hey, is that any good?
It's a lot better than season 1.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'll have to give it a try then.
It's a lot better.
Everybody
than
hated season
like, okay.
1, or a lot of people hated season 1. So does that mean it's okay, or does that mean it's actually good?
I think it's not great. It's good. Daredevil season 2 is still my favorite season out of all the shows, out of everything. Season 2 Daredevil is just absolutely amazing with all the personalities and everything that's converging. I love it. But he was just better. I liked season 2 better. It was good. Not great. It was good.
Nice.
So, yeah, Spider-Man. We've been inside. I haven't been able to play board games with other people.
Yeah.
So good, though.
Nice. I've been playing, and this is kind of different. I've been playing a bunch of the Pokemon card game with my kids. Yeah. I don't know. They've been really getting into it. So I had posted on Instagram, like I made them a binder for their cards, and then we put them in there. We just play with like the theme decks or whatever. So I just have a bunch of different theme decks, and then they'll pick a deck, and like then they know. I mean, I was trying to like be like, let's play it enough times to where my son like understands the rules or understands what's going on. And I mean, I still have to read all the powers, and if he gets a trainer card, I have to like read that to him, and he has to pick out a play. But at this point, he's played it enough times where he knows what a lot of the cards do, and he plays the same deck over and over a lot of times. So he like knows what the characters do at this point. So it's been pretty cool. It's just like a fun, interesting thing to pick up and like be able to do together with my kids, because my daughter likes playing with them a lot too, and they'll make their own decks, which I'm like. My son's like, hey, Dad, I want to play with my deck. I'm like, hey, that's not a legal deck. You need to go read the rules. Obviously, that deck's not going to work. You have all these Pokemon, but like no energies in there, and they're just a completely wrong type. You have like no trainer cards. Come on, man. Like you're just not going to be able to hang with the mad skills I got. So you're going to have to go back to the drawing board on that one, man. But no, I'm just kidding. But But yeah, it's been fun, and it's cool. It's interesting to play like these collectible card games or whatever, just casually, you know. So I mean, when the Pokemon craze was going on with all the cards and stuff like that, I got a bunch of it, like all those '90s kids do, you know, and had a ton of it. But I was one of the only people that like actually knew how to play the game. So like all these kids would have Pokemon cards. I'd be like, hey, let's play Pokemon, and they'd be like, play Pokemon? What are you talking about? I'm like, no, let's like actually play the game. Do you have a deck? She's like, a deck? What are you talking about? But my kids are into like playing the game and like playing around with the cards and stuff like that, and putting their cards in their little binder and throwing the cards all over the floor, and you know the sort of things kids do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Haven't gotten together since Recon to play much games or anything like that, but just been playing stuff with the family. So good times. I know it's been a while back, but Matt, have you gotten to play anything?
I have been playing Downforce sporadically over the past couple of months. And then I had some people over the weekend. They braved the hurricane and came over, and Ryan was like, man, I want to play Ice Cool, and I want to play Right Here Super Battle, but my finger was still in a splint, so I was like, I can't play any of these games, but y'all go ahead. I'll
How's your finger, by the way?
To watch. It's good. I can't bend it past like here without it starting to like hurt, but it's all right. It's getting better.
Dude, that's like your flicking finger
from Target
too,
to
right?
Matt's shop.
Nah.
Matt's place.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. Swelling's gone down, no bruising. So it's better.
That is better.
But I don't know. We played Downforce, and I was trying to do like a Mario Kart like championship series. So I was like, all right, guys, let's run each of the maps, right? And then you keep your combined score for each of the maps, and then we'll total it up at the end and see who won the championship, right?
Did you get the expansion with the other maps?
Yeah, so we played one of each map, and it was pretty good. I think Hector won by like 2 or 3 million at the end. So it was good. It was a lot of fun.
That's not a lot in that game.
No, it's not. It was a good game, and then we had a guy who came over who, to my knowledge, hasn't played board games or doesn't really do that. So Ryan was teaching them Ice Cool and Right Here Super Battle, and they were having a good time. And then we played Downforce, and everybody seemed to have a real good time. So
that's awesome.
I just really like Downforce, like a lot.
Well, I need to play with you. I don't think I've played with you, and it's been a minute since I've played.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen? There's been people that take the like Mario Kart carts from the Monopoly game and switch them out for the Downforce carts. So like you just have a bunch of Mario Kart cars driving around the track. I'm like, that's awesome.
I had the last time we played a couple of months, or the time before this last time that we played a couple of months ago. Hector had put his phone up in like my little chandelier that's over the dining room table, and then had it take.
Yeah, I saw. That looked pretty good.
Running around the map. I was like, "Hey, this is awesome."
That looked really good.
It's a fun game. It's fast. You don't really. There's like literally no downtime in that game, and you're always just paying attention to what's going on. So it's very.
Yeah, because no matter what, the car that you're probably betting on, which is your car if you want to win, but is doing something. So. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I guess we'll talk a little bit about our gaming background stuff, since this is going to be a episode about us and Epic Gaming Night. And I know we've talked about this stuff before, but there might be new people out here, or people that haven't listened to all of the episodes that don't necessarily know this stuff about us. But what kind of games did you guys play growing up?
Lots of trouble.
Lots of trouble? You're into the Pop-O-Matic?
Yeah. Honestly, let's bring it back.
Dude, I know there was a Kickstarter for like just a bunch of Pop-O-Matics. Like you could custom put whatever die you wanted in there. Like it was like a Pop-O-Matic for like each of the dice that you would use for D&D. And I was just like, that's crazy.
I'd say that would be really cool, but then I think I would get tired of the noise very quickly. You're like,
yeah, the nostalgia only goes so far.
Yeah. pretty much.
Nice. I think as far as like those classic games, I played like a lot of Stratego growing up. I think that was one of the super memorable ones. Just because like I played a lot with my brother and a lot with my friends, and just the fact that you could set up the board the way that you wanted to and try to like outsmart your opponent in all these different ways. I still think Stratego is actually a good game. Like, just because you can set up your side of the map and try to be creative with, like, okay, I'm putting my flag over here and surrounding my bombs. Or maybe I'll just put my flag over here in this other place and surround this other place over here with bombs. And they're going to think that's where the flag is. And, like, figure out how to strategically set up your guys, because different guys can take out other guys, and figure out, because you're going to lose a ton of guys during the game. So it's just a very interesting game. Have you guys played Stratego?
I've never played.
Dude, it's one of those classic like old school games that a lot of people that are like hardcore board gamers are like, yeah, that game's actually good, you know. So it's kind of interesting. It's just like a 2-player head-to-head game where you're both playing different troop units, and like I think like the original versions were like Civil War troops or whatever, but like they have like Space Marine versions and different versions and things like that where you're just like different characters taking each other out. But yeah, it's one of those games that like still is like stood the test of time, and people are still like, man, that's actually not a bad game. And then I mean, of course, I played all the regular stuff like Life and Monopoly, but I played a lot of good games with my dad too. Like we played Dune and a lot of Redemption back in the day, and that's one of the main things that like I grew up playing. You know, like played a ton in the tournament scene, and that kind of took over. And just playing a lot of role-playing games like Gamworld with my dad made me, I guess, love thematic games. Rob, what did you play when you were younger? Because I know you got into heavier board gaming like later on, but did you play much of other like tabletop games when you were super young?
Not really. Like I played Risk some, and I mean that's really it. And like Axis and Allies once or twice, but it was when I was really young, I was really big into sports, and so I was doing a lot of that, or computer games. Like my dad would play strategy computer games, so like I did that. But growing up with school, very involved with school and sports and things like that, so really didn't play a lot of board games.
Yeah.
Played Army Men though. Boom, bro! I could make a sick fort.
Yeah, it's like
in the grass.
I wonder if like back in the day, if you would have like gotten attached to miniatures games all the way back then, it'd just be a completely different life.
It would be. It would be. It's probably a good thing that I didn't.
Yeah. What games do you think had like the most like influence on your gaming tastes? Like even if it's video games and stuff like that.
Sure. Well, I would say the strategy war games that I played with my dad, growing up, and other things like that, are a big reason why I'm a Ameritrash gamer or a big area control gamer, because that's what you do in those old games. You're trying to control as much of the map as possible and squeeze in on your enemy and things like that. And so, those to me, I always like the strategy of, okay, let me see if my idea and my army can beat your army. Type of a thing. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what had a big. And then also, there was a little bit, it wasn't very long, but a little bit where I played Call of Duty semi-professionally. I was ranked pretty high in the world and stuff like that. And so I was more into aggressive games like
the first-person shooters and all that stuff.
Yeah. Like if you were to, back in the day, told me to play Terraforming Mars, I would have been like, no, bro.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird, like that stigma sometimes that board games like have for some people, or like people that don't know like how fun they could be. You're like, psh, cardboard, what is that? I mean, sometimes you still get that, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, I always like games and stuff like that, but the idea of like building an engine with cubes and things like that to create something just never did it for me. Or as I get older. See, when I was young, I wanted to live in the city and live near everybody and do all this stuff. And now as I get older, I want to get away from people. And I like more Euro games. I'm liking more Euro games than I ever thought I would. It's weird.
That is weird. What's wrong with you guys?
I don't know, man.
I'm just kidding.
How about you guys?
I mean, I talk about my stuff all the time. As far as like, I feel like Gamma World and just the whole like role playing experience is probably one of the main things that like influenced my gaming taste. Just with the fact that it's like very story driven, and there's lots of combat and stuff. Because I mean, in D&D, you're always like running into different things and fighting with them. But just the fact that you could, I really love those games where you get to create your character and like min-max different things and unlock abilities and have like lots of different powers. Like I love any board game that has that sort of thing in it, you know. And that's just from role-playing games. And if you don't know, like Game World's basically D&D, just post-apocalyptic, and you have all these mutations which are sometimes good and sometimes bad. Like my character had like narcolepsy, so like, you know, sometimes you could just like fall asleep randomly. But and awesome. My brother's character had anti-charisma, so like everybody we met wanted to fight him, including us, which kind of fit. Like I was like, no, this is just kind of you anyway. I'm pretty sure you just play this character like that anyway. But no, it was a lot of fun being able to play that with my dad and like school/church friends growing up.
Yeah,
it definitely has a lot of memories, and I think help influence it a lot. Not to mention like CCG stuff, collectible card games. I still like building.
See, I didn't even start playing Redemption until I was like an adult and married.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I was excited about Overpower when I saw it, but my parents at the time were like, X-Men, what is this? I don't know what X-Men is. That's probably evil. And of course they knew what magic was. They're like, there's no way you could touch magic.
That's the devil.
That's the devil. But then we found out about Redemption, and they're like, okay, you can have Redemption. So I had the starter decks and literally had them for like months, but never knew how to play. I mean, I was a kid. I was literally like, I think I got those when I was like 11, something like that, which I mean, I could read through the rule book, but I'm just like, I don't get this. Not to mention it wasn't written well, you know?
Yeah.
So then my dad finally helped me and my friend Dustin learn how to play the game. And once we learned how to play the game, like it was just off to the races because we just get packs and got a whole bunch of other people into it, and we just continued to build all the decks. So it was a lot of fun. What about you, Matt? What do you think? What games did you play growing up that you think influenced your taste in games? Matt's like, hard question.
Certainly not Trouble.
Besides just the Pop-O-Matic in general. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I feel like Life is a good allegory for it, entirely because that was a game that, unlike Monopoly or Trouble or any of the other things, you didn't necessarily have a set path.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you could choose, you know, if you wanted to go this way or that way, and sometimes you still had, you know, random events you had to deal with, but you still had some level of choice in deciding what you wanted to do, which is something that I very much like in games.
I was about to say, I feel like most of the time it's not a game if you don't have at least some sort of choices, you know?
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. I never really, another like style of games that I really like are games that are very modular, but I don't think I played any modular games, or if any even existed back then. I don't really know.
Did you play any?
Occasionally, but like I was terrible at that because I was like 8, and I'm just like.
Were there any like video games that you think you played back in the day that would like influence your tastes, or?
I mean, in other video games, yeah. I'm weirdly, I don't know, I guess restrictive with things. So it's like things that I have an interest in video games typically stay in video games, and I don't really cross-pollinate a lot of my interests so much. Huh. So it's like I played a lot of Sega Genesis games like Sonic and Vector Man, which is classic Sega Genesis. But those don't really have any sort of allegories, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, Sonic Racing, you know, downforce type of a thing.
That's true.
I mean, but that's like stretching. But I see what you're saying. Like that cute, cuddly character to try to collect the rings. There's really not a game like that that I know that you've played. I'm sure there's a board game where somebody will be like, oh, yeah, that's just like so-and-so. But we don't know about it.
I mean, I feel like it crossed over a lot for me all the time because I love stuff like Dragon Warrior, like those old like role-playing games where you're like running around and fighting monsters and leveling up your character, and Final Fantasy, and just like Zelda where you're just running around getting items and upgrading your character and solving puzzles. I don't know. All that stuff, it's like, man, this feels like a role, like Game World does a little bit. When you have like character stats and things like that, it's like, oh man, this is cool. I mean, that was around the time when I was like, let me make a role playing game, but it's like actually fantasy. That would be cool. If it was like Lord of the Rings, this would be awesome. If there was such a thing as a role playing game that was fantasy, that would be amazing. Little did I know.
I love how you thought you created D&D.
Dude, me and my friend, my dad took the stuff. My dad took all of his old Game World stuff back because he's going to try to play it or something. But I found, like, a page of, like, a character sheet that I made for my old, like, role-playing game. And, like, a list of, like, weapons where, like, oh, man, we're going to make the dagger, like, a D4. And the flail is going to be like this. And the Morning Star. I mean, a lot of the stuff we, like, pulled out of video games we played. Because we played a lot of, like, roguelike Castle of the Winds and, like, Mordor 2, like a whole bunch of like freemium games or like shareware games you could get on the computer. I've literally played a lot of games in my life. It's kind of crazy. It's pretty crazy how many video games and like old school like tabletop games that I played in my life. But hey, I'm not gonna deny being a nerd. I'm pretty far down that hole at this point.
You're all the way, bro.
All the way.
So what's the next question?
If you had a favorite style of game, what would it be?
Like currently right now,
if you had to describe Robert as having a favorite style, what would your favorite style of game be?
Like if I only had to choose one, I'd probably still say area control.
Yeah.
But that's so tough and it's so thin. Is co-op a style? I mean, you can do. I don't know. I would just
BGG tags.
I mean, you could just label it however you want. What would you say if that kind of game comes out, you're immediately like, oh man, let me look at that sort of game? Or is it or is your favorite oversaturated at this point where you're like, I just want to play the ones I have?
I'm not so much looking right now for style as I am for designer.
Yeah.
Like the style of the game, to me, I'm not looking at that so much as I am the company and or the designer that put out the game.
Yeah.
Like anything, Eric Lang, Isaac Vega, Corey Kineska, Emerson Matsuuchi, anything they put out, there's a 90+% chance I'm buying that game.
Yeah.
Even if I don't.
And it's crazy because you're probably really going to like it. Even when they make games that don't match the style that you would normally like, just because they made it and because they're
Emerson
that
makes
good.
Games that I would normally never play. Like Century Spice Road. Okay, that's cute. But like if I didn't know Emerson, I would have never picked it up, right? Like I bought that because I love the guy. And then I played it and I was like, wow, this game is actually really fun. Like it's simple, it's easy, it's boom, here we go. And so it's just one of those things where now knowing some of these people and the advantage of the show, getting to know some of these people, I'm buying stuff that I normally would not buy, but I'm also enjoying it. It's not like a pity buy or anything like that. Like, okay, it's like I trust you as a designer. You make good stuff in your games. Mm-hmm. Like Reef. I don't own Reef yet, but that's a game I would like normally never buy. Again, I played it.
It's awesome.
I really enjoyed it. Really liked it. So we'll see.
Yeah. Matt, did you play Reef?
No, I didn't get the opportunity.
I feel like Matt would really like Reef.
Probably. It looked like a game that I would really enjoy.
It's cute. It's simple. You're just getting cards and you're trying to get combos and you want to maximize your combos.
You're trying to set up your things in the right way, like spatially.
Don't play with Kent or Courtney and you have a chance at winning.
Whatever. I'll take them on.
Bro,
come on, Kent. Bring it on.
If you beat them, a lot of respect for you. I thought I was all excited. I had like
dude,
21 points or something at the end.
I was
like, oh man, I'm counting my points. And they're like, all right, 40, 50, 53. I'm like, what?
Dude, I had like a ton of points. I played versus Trevor and Braden and JJ. And man, they were like, Roy, what are you doing over there? I'm like, I'm getting points. Like, and they were like, holy crap. They were like, okay, well, who's getting second? Because I was just Because they were trying to like get a bunch of little points. I was just like, I'm just gonna maximize every card I get as hard as I can, and then smash it for 1,000,000 points.
That's Kent and Courtney.
Yeah.
Which, by the time the show, they could be having the baby literally right now. So if you have the baby right now, congratulations.
Yeah.
Name him Robert.
They're supposed to name him Peter.
They can't do Peter.
They gotta do.
I mean,
Peter.
I would love for them
Or
to
Get
name,
Out.
like have a son named Peter Parker, but
They should do another superhero name because you got Kent, which is like Superman. Is it Bruce Parker? Got to keep it Marvel/DC. Anyway, good times. For me, as far as style of game, like I'm really into like Rob said, area control is really good, but I like if it is an epic 4X game, like I'm probably like a super fan of that game. Like I don't know, I love Eclipse, I love Twilight Imperium, I love Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. I love any of those games I played that have that building up, gathering resources on all that. But I mean, I love those games. I love any of those games that just have that like big epic feel. I don't know, putting dudes on the board.
Yeah, like where there's big consequences. Like,
if
you take this risk, it will either break you and you'll be sad for the next 2 or 3 hours as you slowly realize that you've lost and die. Or it could pay off huge for you.
What would you say, Matt? What would you think your favorite style of game would be?
Mine's going to be very generic and very nebulous. I like games where you can build stuff, whether that means like physically build things or like build an engine or like tile laying games or, you know, anything that I can basically play Lego, whether that be physically or mentally.
So junk art.
Fantastic. Yeah. Junk art, Terraforming Mars, even the 4X games, like you were saying, you have a lot of build up and stuff that you're trying to make, and you're trying to make this thing.
Doing your tech tree and then being able to utilize your tech tree to put things on the board.
Like those are the parts of the games that are so much fun for me.
You were not on last week. You didn't hear me talk about Bunny Kingdoms, did you?
No.
Bro, I think you'd really like it.
Okay.
I think you'd really, really like it. I got it. We played it at Recon, and it's drafting. But the difference between this draft is as soon as you pick your cards, but once you pass them, you then play those cards. It's not like it's a lot of fun. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Okay.
I think you'd really enjoy it.
I will say I bought Queen Domino.
Oh yeah.
Because it was having a sale, and I was like, I don't know, this might be enjoyable. It's still in string, like everything else.
Right.
One of the days.
Awesome.
Well, that's the problem with this hobby, right? And it's like us, because we're trying to be content creators, there's so many good games that come out all the time. Yeah. It's like, it's not that we don't want to play the games, but then just like, oh, this next shiny new toy comes out, and then this shiny new toy comes out.
It's getting to the point where it's just kind of like I see a brand new game, and if it's not like extremely like riveting, I'm just like, I mean, you know, it's okay.
It'd be cool if there was like a gaming rental service.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they've had things like that in the past, but I don't know how many of those.
I heard about that, but then like pieces were lost and other things like that.
Yeah, they'd have like Redbox type game things where they'd send them to you. And then
I don't know, man. I just need to open my own board game store and just have like an awesome stack.
Nice.
Free to play games.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole model behind cafes, right? Is that you can go in there and play some of the new games and try them out. It's kind of cool. But good.
I feel like cafes that are around here though, it's like go in there and sit down and play Takenoko or Japan or Catan or and it's like, I mean these are fine games. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's like, I don't know.
Bro, Takenoko is a good game. I played that in years ago, and I remember playing that again after like my first daughter was born, because it's an older game now. And I was like, when she gets older, I want to play this with her. The cute little panda and the bamboo and stuff. I was like, this is a game I'm going to hold on to, because I'm not going to play it again until she gets older. But that's a cute little game, man. Ashley, Ambi, everybody that's leaving, have a great night. Ashley, tell your husband to paint those minis and post them online.
Yeah, I saw the pictures on Instagram. So.
Don't be scared. Tell him not to be scared. Man up.
Paint her up.
Do it. He's Australian. What has he got to be scared of? He lives in the most deadliest place in the world. Like, be more scared going to work. Don't be scared.
Watch out for those drop bears. Drop bears could get you at any point.
There are so many poisonous snakes and bugs and dangerous sea life and stuff like that, and you're scared of painting minis. You've already won at life. You made it home from work. You survived. Paint the minis. Like, you got this.
So, what would be an interesting gaming fact about you? And you can bring this back as far as you want, because, I mean, this is supposed to be an episode that people might listen to for the first time. So if there's a gaming fact that people would want to know about you.
Interesting gaming fact. Interesting gaming fact. Okay,
Rob used to have all the risks. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, I have over 20 different versions of Risk. So that's interesting. I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's like an interesting. I'm a board gamer. I like board games. I don't know. What do you think, Matt? I need to think on that. What's an interesting gaming?
Well, for me, like I talked about Redemption a little bit. I played Redemption like so hardcore to the point where I was like just winning tournaments all the time, which was silly. And there was one year where they had like several different types of tournaments. They had like local tournaments, then district tournaments, then state tournaments, and then regional tournaments, and then the national tournament. So this year I had made, I guess, basically this like meta-breaking deck that was just really good and just was different than a lot of what other people were playing at the time. And I would just go to all these tournaments and just clean house, because I played it from the time I was like 11. This was when I was like, I guess it was like right when I turned like 18. And was like finally able to like go around and do stuff. But yeah, I played a ton, and I ended up just like winning all these tournaments and had like the perfect score. But yeah, and it was pretty ridiculous. And what was I gonna say? I ended up getting like scoring all the locals I could win, scoring all the regionals I could win, all the districts I could win. I'd won like more state tournaments than I could win. Like I went to set, because you can only win one. I went to like several different states and just won, and so that was fun. And then I went to the national tournament, and I went completely undefeated. But then we had extra rounds to play, so I went completely undefeated all the way to the top, and then I had to play another game. And so I played against another extremely good player, Tim, who had done like really good at nationals. This was the first nationals I did very good at all. And I was like going all the way to the top. And somebody told me, was like, hey man, or one of the guys who was like big in the scene, like one of the main guys was like, hey man, if you like win this, you will have like the perfect record. Like you won like every type of tournament you possibly could. That's never been done. I was like, dude, man, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it, man. And so then I played Tim, and ended up losing. It was extremely close game, like extremely close. Like it was one of those where it's just kind of like, well, we got weird draws, so we were basically just like attacking each other and just automatically winning every single time. And he just beat me. He just beat me to the race to win the game. So I lost the game, and then at that point we had the same amount of wins and losses, because well, no, he had. I don't remember how that score worked exactly, but I ended up losing on like differential. Oh yeah, because he had only lost one game too, but he lost to somebody else. So we ended up like I lost on like the differential because he had played more people and gotten better scores throughout the entire tournament, and mine, I guess I'd played people that were closer scores. So I didn't lose because I had lost more games than him. It was just off of like differential. I was like, oh man, I lost the entire thing, second place. I couldn't complain too much though, because I literally got like at the national tournament. That's when they're like, and now we're going to give away the prizes for people who are doing the best in the rankings. And they're just like, here, Roy, have like 5 boxes of booster packs. And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not mad. So
yeah.
But it was fun, and it was a phase that happened. After playing a lot of other board games, I realized that game wasn't necessarily as good as other games. I mean, Redemption was cool and fun, especially at the time. But like playing a lot of other stuff, I'm like, wow. There's a lot of stuff in these other games which are amazing. So that's an interesting fact about me. I probably went on too long about it, but Matt, what about you? What's some interesting gaming facts about you? Any kind of gaming.
I don't know. I guess I put way too much time into video games, as one might imagine.
Didn't you do like Team Fortress 2, like semi-professional or something like that?
Yeah, I played Highlander in TF2 for like 3 seasons, which is kind of fun. Want some money, but
Nice.
I don't know, man. It's okay. That's TF2. I only put like 1,000 hours into that game, and then put 4,500 into Dota 2. And yeah, man, it's a problem. Now I just try to buy happiness with board games. So
That stay and shrink. They'd make you happier if you came over and played them with you, Matt.
yeah, man, I want to play all the things.
I know.
That
right?
was my philosophy with starting to buy Kickstarters. Was like I noticed trends like Roy buys games very specifically, very thought out. So it's like you can sort of plot what Roy's going to get.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, Rob backs anything from CMON, and
Pretty much.
yeah, and like a lot of minis games. So I'm just like, okay, so that's sort of pretty easy to navigate. So I was like,
Let me get the ones that they don't get.
yeah, I was like, let me get the fringe Kickstarters or the ones that I'm kind of interested in. And then they all just say,
Or the ones that Roy and Rob don't have enough money to even imagine to get, aka.
oh, good old King of Death.
King
Well, I mean, I could imagine it, but bro, I would get my wife would leave.
Hey, man, that's the upside of being singles. You don't have anybody to
Leave you? Oh no.
complain about any of your audacious spending habits. Although occasionally you tell your friends about it and they just sort of stare at you blankly. That's always
And then you
great.
tell your other friends about it, and you're just like, "But I really want to play that with you, Matt."
Yeah.
Or at least let me make the miniatures for you, Matt.
Man,
It'll happen.
Someday. We're all going to
It will.
retire, and then we're just going to play through Matt's collection eventually.
there we go.
We're all retired to the same retirement home. Then we can just play Matt's collection. Nice.
I keep feeling like I'm like, hey man, soon I'll have time. Soon I'll have time. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, January. January is when I will have time.
Man, I'm like freaked out right now.
Oh, the spider?
Bro, it was a big spider.
That's
Hey,
okay.
man,
Typically,
they
biggest
come
time.
out. They come out this time of year.
It was like
Was it one of
Like
those yellow
$half
and black
size.
ones?
It was like, so if you guys see me, I'm looking up because I'm looking for the. I mean, spiders don't freak me out. I just want to kill it. I just
Rob's
wanna,
about to slay Shelob. It's about to be like a scene.
That's why my
from,
camera went away for like a little bit.
scene from the Lord of the Rings in here. We see
I
him pull
turned
out
off the
Sting.
camera. I got up, and as soon as I got up and I looked, it was no longer in its spot. And I was like, "Oh crap!"
Dude, is it on your chair behind you or?
Shut up,
No, I'm just
Roy.
kidding.
You're a jerk. If anybody though sees it on my face or on my head, and I don't, just like let me know. Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
A fun gaming fact about me: I used to be ranked 80th in the world at Call of Duty when I played Call of Duty semi-pro.
That's actually crazy.
And
80th? That's
yeah.
crazy because that game is huge.
It was Call of Duty World at War. It was our last World War II game. I was on a team, and we would do tournaments and things like that. But then I started to have people say, hey, why don't you come to our tournament as an individual and play like in person? And if you win, you could join like a big like national team type of a thing. But the reason why I got out of that is because to like go to those tournaments, like I wasn't on a team yet, and so I was going to be out of pocket all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I could get into the tournament,
your
but I had to buy
sponsors,
my
man.
flight. I had to buy my own flight, get my own hotel, and then you have to like place well. And then once you place well, because they have like scouts there, because I was getting scouted. I had people like messaging me like, we would love to try you out, you know, come to this tournament, you know, blah, blah, blah type of a thing. Because they want to see how well you do under pressure. It's not just like seeing you play, but like, all right, can you handle the pressure? So
In a different universe or a different reality, Rob's playing Fortnite right now on Twitch.
I've never played Fortnite.
I know, but I'm just saying in a different reality.
right?
Because I mean,
and, yeah,
honestly,
and
there's all these people that don't even like Fortnite that are just playing it just because it's that big. But
so, well, I mean, that's my like special like board game stuff. I've always enjoyed games. Like that's another reason why I played sports is I just like playing games. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just want to play card games, sports games, board games, video games, actual games like physical, like football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, lacrosse, hockey, everything. Like I played. I was on the swim team. I was on the dive team. Yeah, I just like playing. I like to play.
Nice. Well, how did you get into modern board games?
Risk Legacy is what got me into modern board games. Played some games with some friends of ours, like some generic like party games, like a Game of Things and Boulder Dash and stuff like that, or the cute games. But then Risk Legacy came out, and my buddy, who shall not be named, was like, "Hey man, like we should get this and try it because like it has these things that you open and like you read about it." And I was like, "That sounds fantastic." And I think we ended up playing the board in like one weekend, which is 15 games of Risk.
That's crazy.
We played it like one weekend and had a lot of fun. And I won the board, and so it made it even more fun.
Because you won.
It helps because when you win Risk Legacy, you get to like sign the board and claim it. It's like yours, right? And I still have mine. And I'm going to get it framed one day. Like I have the original board that I won the very first game. I remember I played with myself, he who shall not be named, Jeremy, and Kenneth. And it was so much fun. And I've actually played 8 boards of Risk Legacy, and I've won 5 of the 8 that I played. So 8 times 15, it's 120 games, I think.
That's crazy.
So anyway, that's what got me into it. And once we did that, like then shortly after that, we bought Game of Thrones, Battlestar Galactica, and a couple of other games. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like we started our own little gaming group.
Yeah.
And then I went to a comic book shop one night because my friends were busy. Like they all had different plans. And this comic book shop was like offering, it was called the Batcave. They were offering, like it was a Thursday night, like board game night. And that's when I was introduced to Mansions of Madness, playing with people I'd never met before, playing a game I had never played before. And we played Mansions of Madness First Edition. And we did the mission where the bad guy, the Mansion Keeper, had to do the mission where he had to collect samples.
Oh, yeah.
3 samples, take it to the altar, summon a Shoggoth, and then the Shoggoth had to escape.
That's crazy.
And our job was to stop the Shoggoth from escaping. Either stop the ritual before it ended or stop the Shoggoth. And I remember us working together, and we got so hyped when we beat it. And it was like 2 spaces away from the door, and we blew it up, and it was wrecking us, and it was just so much fun. And that's one of the reasons why like I fell in love with that game, and I still love Mansions of Madness. It was so amazing. Such a great experience playing with those people. And then, of course, my gaming group, we played it a bunch, and I played it with you guys several times, but Mansions of Madness and Risk Legacy were the 2 games that like set me over the edge, where I was like, okay, I'm doing this. Like this is awesome.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, I talked a lot about how I grew up with gaming half the time. My dad was big into war games and role-playing games and stuff like that, so I grew up playing a lot of that stuff. But I played CCGs growing up as well. And we played a little bit of like we played Settlers of Canaan, which is like the Redemption Company made a version of Settlers of Catan that was Settlers of Canaan. We played a bunch of that, but I also played Settlers of Catan as well. But I never was like, it was fun and we played it, but I never was like, this is my hobby now, you know. And it wasn't until my friend, was super big into D&D at the time. I was running like sessions at the game store. My friend Guy like invited me to go down and play some games in Georgia with one of his friends, which is actually kind of interesting because he's like, hey, this guy that runs D&D for us, you should come down and play D&D with some other friends. I was like, okay, I'm just going to play with a bunch of people. I have no clue who they are besides you. But it was really cool and really fun. And we actually ended up we played Pathfinder, but we also ended up playing Battlestar Galactica. And this was the first time I had seen like a thematic modern board game that had this whole trader / cooperative aspect to it. And we played like 3 times, like back to back. And it was, I mean, to play Battlestar Galactica that many times, I mean, it's literally like all day.
It's not a small game. It's like
I think we played it multiple days.
A 2-hour game is a short game of Battlestar Galactica.
That was like a weekend thing where we were all staying at the dude's house. So it was pretty awesome and epic. But it was crazy. And I had never seen the show. So I had no clue about the theme. They just described it to me and told me what was going on. But I fell in love with the game. And then I also got a chance to like go up and hang out with my friend Dustin, which I grew up playing games with. But he was super into modern board games, and he introduced me to Arkham Horror and Shadows over Camelot and Pandemic, and all these cooperative / semi-cooperative with trader games just made me fall in love with board gaming. And because I didn't realize that a board game could be that, you know. I had played like Settlers of Catan, which is like, okay, you gather some wheat and you roll some dice and you build your little city. And that was fun, but like the fact that you could play out this crazy thematic story and all these like gripping moments in a game was just super exciting to me. That made me fall head over heels. And I mean, honestly, I started doing more because I was into like D&D and sort of Magic at the time. And at a certain point, set rotation happened in Magic. I traded away all of my Magic cards for like a stack of board games. And I had started like watching the Dice Towers videos and stuff like that. So I kind of knew this board game would be cool, or this board game looks like something that I'd really like. And I had researched and done a lot of like watched a lot of review videos and like figured out which games I wanted. And I got a whole bunch of different games, and then me and a few of my friends started playing those games. So it was pretty cool. What about you, Matt?
I
always love this story. Every single time. It's super short, and it's just like...
I mentioned something about board games one time. A friend of mine said I should check out this show called Tabletop, and I watched a couple episodes, and I was like, man, I really want to play this Betrayal House on the Hill game. That seems fun. And then I went over to Roy's house and started playing games.
I'm pretty sure I bugged you like a ton of times, though.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Matt, you know I played these games or whatever. It'd be cool if you came. And you're just like, this guy keeps inviting me over. This is kind of creepy.
I don't think you ever directly invited me.
Or maybe I just told you about it.
Yeah.
I think that's my strategy.
Like, you like passively try to invite people, but like I'm a person who's just like, oh, if you did not directly invite me, I'm clearly not invited, so I'm not gonna invite myself to his house. I'm just like, I'll just sit here. AJ does things where he'll talk about stuff he wants to do over the weekend, and I'm just like, I know from talking to him about this that I'm invited because he's telling me about it, but he hasn't explicitly invited me, so I'm unsure if I'm actually invited.
Yeah. Good times. But yeah, dude, man, I miss having like our game nights that we first started having. I mean, we've all been so busy, it's been ridiculous. But that was some of like the best gaming like I ever did was when we started having a bunch of people over and just playing games like every week. And like I really enjoy introducing new games to people, being like, check this out. Have you seen this? Have you played this? What about this one? I don't know. It's just fun seeing people play stuff for the first time. Is there a specific game you wish you could play more of? All of them.
Right? It's I don't know. That's a tough question because like as soon as like I'm like, man, I wish I could play more Mansions of Madness.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Another game comes out that I've never played before that I'm like, man, I really want to play that right now because I already know Mansions is good. Like I don't have to worry about some of these games. I already know that they're good.
It's like one of these things that like rotates. It's like, oh, and you played it and you're like, okay, what's the next one? Like that was on the list that I need to check off.
I
think now I really want to play Starship Samurai again. Just because that game's fun.
Yeah, I want to play that again.
I want to play Downforce again. Matt's got me all hyped for Downforce.
I actually really want to play Rob's Western Legends.
I really want to play that, but I haven't played that before, so I can't say like play it again.
Oh yeah, I play it again. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I wish they would make. Sorry, go ahead. I'll get into this in a minute.
And I really need to play through tons of my Mansions of Madness scenarios because I've got several scenarios. I mean, I've actually played a lot of Mansions of Madness.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just the newest expansion that I'm missing stuff. There's one from the Streets of Arkham or whatever that I haven't played. But then there's 2 that came out with the newest small box one, and then 1 DLC that I haven't played yet. So yeah, I really want to play all of those just because like I love that game a lot, and it's really cool to see what they've done. Especially with the new one, it looks super interesting because it looks like you start split up into 2 different groups. So that just seems super interesting to me.
So what were you gonna say, Matt?
Oh, I was gonna say I really want to play. I want to play like a meteor version of Downforce that's basically Downforce, but you get to design your own car, and you're basically trying to build it like in an RPG sort of style, and then you're taking it to races and doing the same thing that you would do in Downforce, but with something that you've sort of created. I think that'd be really neat. But that was just a random thought that my brain was like, shiny thought. Let's say this out loud, really quick, really fast. I've had a hankering. So I really want to play Terraforming Mars again.
Oh yeah, I would actually like to try that again too.
Because I got the other expansion, Venus Next, and I'm like, yeah. But then I think the new one came out called like Prelude or something. So you play like a pre-corporation. So I don't know. That seems pretty neat too. But you know, I don't know. But that's sort of what I'm hankering to play. Is Terraforming Mars.
Nice.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Matt, you know what Kent got me for my birthday?
What?
Pioneer Days.
Oh, nice.
Bro.
That's very kind.
I freaking love that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, and they also it's the German version, but I got a copy of the Mind.
Ah, nice.
I played with my wife. First try, we got to level 9.
Now, but did you guys fudge the rules, Rob? Rob, did you guys fudge the rules, Rob?
No, we actually played the right way.
With zero
Matt,
communication?
we were playing the wrong way. Like, I watched Tom and them explain how to play. You actually start off with 3 lives and 1 ninja star.
Okay.
We were playing it super hardcore. But no, my wife and I weren't talking because we got to level 9 because at the beginning, like, we made a couple mistakes, and I was like, babe, you're going to get us killed. Like, stop this. Like, like she just throws stuff down because I'd be like, I'd give her the look like, I'm not going first. And so she'd throw down like a 74. And I'm like, that can't be the first card that's played. Like, come on, woman. Like, I thought you had something closer than that. Anyway, we didn't talk. We had a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
So here's the question. What is your current favorite board game? I wonder if anybody's has changed. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, I'll go first because everybody. I don't feel like I've done too much.
It's a surprise.
I keep telling people that that I'm scared that Heroes of Lander and Sea is going to push its way into my first. But I firmly believe that Twilight Imperium 4th edition is still my favorite board game. I mean, for the longest time, 3rd edition was my favorite board game, but it's the same game. I mean, the same game, just different stuff. I mean, just the amount of stuff in that game and the fact that there's like the negotiation side and the tech tree side, and I just love the game, the way that game works. And 4th edition like helps streamline a lot of the stuff, like making the technology easier to understand and like doing stuff. Man, I want an expansion so bad. They had the in-flight report and they said, "Oh, we currently don't have any games or expansions planned, but that would be fun in the future," or something like that. And I'm just like,
nope. They were like, "Bye, Mr. Peterson."
Yeah.
See ya.
So we'll see. But yeah, man, I like that game a lot. So, and I feel like it has to stay at number 1 to ever get played. So, not that that's true, but you know, if I'm like, this is my favorite game, it makes it a little bit more. I mean, honestly, it's still my favorite game just because I love the way it works and the mechanics. It's just so big and so epic. And I know there are games that people could consider bigger, like, oh my goodness, like whatever that giant civilization, Mega Civ or something like that, or some other crazy war games might be bigger. But Twilight Imperium is definitely like epic, that's for sure.
Yeah, that Mega Civ game was insane.
Oh yeah, they were playing that for like
days.
Yeah, that was.
They played that game for days.
I'd be interesting to see how like a round works. I don't know that I could play like. I wouldn't want to know how the mechanics worked. It would have to be extremely entertaining to be able to withstand.
I feel like I would be interested in playing it if I were at a con that were maybe longer.
Yeah. More longer than a week.
Yeah, because I'm wasting too much time.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, or I'd want to play it where that's all that was going on.
I'm hoping that like the downtime isn't that bad, because if the downtime's bad in a game like that, it's just like no. So
yeah,
I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much, so who knows. So what about you, Matt? What's your favorite board game?
Probably still Blood Rage.
It's so good.
It's so good. But I mean, there's some other games that are starting to push their way up there. So it might be dethroned, but I don't know.
No, it's one of those games. Like as soon as the box opens, I'm like, okay.
Yep.
You want to play Blood Rage? I don't know. I've got it open. Oh, okay, I'll play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I played it a lot, but it's so good, and I still get so excited about the draft every time.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, man, I wish there was new things to draft. Is that wrong?
No, not at all.
Is that bad?
I'm the exact
honestly, I'm like, I mean, I love what they have. I love it. It would be just really cool to have a breath of fresh air. Like, honestly, just make a few new cards. I mean, do you know how many? I mean, I'm sure he's gonna like make the trilogy, blah blah blah, and like have the games out, and then maybe make something like that is a part of everything. Or
no, he's not gonna do that. He's corporate now, bro.
No, I mean, it's their big. I mean, if they made more for Blood Rage, you know how much money that would make.
I don't know if it'd make as much anymore. It's not. It's the hype of the new.
No, I mean, Blood Rage, if they were like, okay, let's make a big expansion for Blood Rage, it will be easy
They'd have
money.
to do something big, like a new board, new factions, or maybe new monsters or something.
I mean,
They'd have to do something big, but I don't know if it would go so well if they just released new cards. I think there's people like us that would buy
I'm saying I wouldn't mind if it was just new cards, just because like I want something new to draft. But if they made like a big expansion for Blood Rage, it would be literally insane. I feel like he'll probably end up doing it someday. But see. Even though, who knows? I mean, if he doesn't, he's just wrong. That's fine.
Is it supposed to be a trilogy?
I mean, he said that they're making another game in the series or whatever, or the same sort of thing of like mythical monsters, but he said it's a ways off and he's not even talking about it now.
I want it to be Africa.
I was just I was hoping he would go through and do like stuff for different like continents, right? So you pick different sort of regions that have very interesting mythos to talk about.
Yeah,
either Africa or South America with like some of the Indian stuff.
It's kind of interesting because Colossal Games is making an area control game. I haven't looked into it too much, but I know the Dice Tower just put videos up. But it looks very much along those lines, but it's like Aztec, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like, did they like jump on this before before Eric could? Huh? That's kind of crazy. Yeah. Well, I mean, you have Kemet, which is kind of Egyptian-ish, but that's a completely different company. But I'm sure.
I'm trying to sell my copy of Kemet, unpunched. If anybody would like to buy it,
email Robert Newman at gmail.com. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what your email address is. I know.
Did you just say my email to everybody online?
No. I just made up an email. But I was saying to email you.
Yeah, please don't say that online.
I don't think that's your email address. That's not the one you have to.
What did you say?
I just made up. I just said your first name and last name at Gmail.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's not.
And if that was your email, I don't know that you can get mad about that.
Yeah, no.
It's literally the first thing I would try. I'd be like, see if I get a response.
They'd be like, "This is the wrong Robert Newman. Sorry, but this is Robert Newman for sure." That's what it is. Awesome.
Kemet or whatever.
An Egyptian one would be cool. That's a cool idea, Halo.
Yeah.
So.
Mine still Mansions of Madness.
Yeah, dude, I want to play. I want to play with people that are into it. Like that would be really fun. I mean, I don't think I've had a play of that game that wasn't awesome. So it's always
just
great.
so good.
I've got like all of mine like in this one big case, which I actually opened the other day, and I'm like, oh man, I love Mansions of Madness. I still had I had my iPad still stuck in that case. I was like, oh, here's my iPad. It's like. It had been in there since Dice Tower Con. I was like, oh, well.
So how long did you go blaming the kids that they misplaced it somewhere?
I didn't blame them at all. I didn't really remember. I was like, oh. I mean, it's like a really old iPad, so we like don't really. Only the kids use it, and then I use it for Mansions of Madness. But then I was just like, oh, here's my like second gen iPad. Holy crap! What the? Anyway, good times. Okay, so is there a board game you think that everybody should try before we close this out?
Everybody should try.
If there's just one board game that you would suggest as Epic Gaming Night.
Ooh, as Epic Gaming Night? All right, because that's different than everybody should try.
That is very different.
We're just going to suggest a game. If they're listening to this podcast, they're the type of person that's listening to this podcast, what would you suggest for them to try?
It'd be hard not to say Blood Rage.
Yeah. Oh man, Brett's got it right. In chat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like that for like social deduction, but I don't think that game sums up Epic Gaming Night.
Well, I guess
that's a good game. Don't get me wrong; it's my favorite social deduction game, but like the epicness of the minis and the board and the draft and everything of Blood Rage, and that you can play the game in under an hour and a half with 5 people. Mm-hmm. That's pretty awesome, man. Like that's.
Yeah,
and it's one that we all really, really love. Like, we all really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Is there a cooperative game that we're all like just Dead of Winter? Like, is that like the one that we're all like the best together as a group? I mean, I know me and Rob really like Mansions. I mean, I would never say, hey, you need to go try Battlestar Galactica, seeing that's super out of print now. Even though we harped about Battlestar Galactica so much at the beginning of the podcast.
It's such a great game.
It's a really good game, but it is literally, I'm pretty sure it's never coming back. So,
I would say maybe Dead of Winter as like a semi-co-op but paranoid type of game. Either that or Rhino Hero Super Battle.
Oh, yeah. So that should be good 3 right there. Try Rhino Hero Super Battle, Dead of Winter, and Blood Rage. I'm down with that. That seems good. Awesome,
what
guys.
Euro game would we throw in there? For me, I'd choose Champions. Yeah, if I were to choose one, Champions with the expansions.
Yep.
Yeah. You have all the expansions? Man, I'm trying to get the Pegasus expansion, but like right now it's $300. And I'm not spending $300 for the Pegasus expansion.
What do you want for it, Rob? No, I'm just kidding.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Hey, I may talk to you.
I can't believe it's $300 though. But yeah,
I'm not giving you not even close to that. So don't be like,
duh. But eBay, no, I'm just kidding.
Was like, for you, such a good friend, $350.
For you, such a good friend, $200. There we go. That's way too much money. Dear Lord. But no, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna play Battlestar Galactica mostly with the base game. The problem is Pegasus is like the one you do add in if you're adding stuff in, which is cool.
Well, and I like it because of the plastic minis and stuff, and it adds the additional board.
I didn't realize you didn't have any of those.
I always planned on getting them, right? But we were playing all these other games, like, and so it's just like, okay, because I planned on getting them back when I lived in Arkansas. Like, it was fun, but we got into the hype a little bit of playing new games there, and so it just, I don't know.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, some of these games, they're just really good. They go out of print, and like probably aren't ever coming back. They just like skyrocket in price sometimes. It's kind of ridiculous. And you probably shouldn't buy it for that because you're an insane person if you do. There's so many games out there.
Time I saw it,
it's just like
I saw it like one time for like $199, but it was like also like $75 in shipping.
Don't do it, man. Why would you do that?
I think like if you go to Amazon or other places, like it's just kind of ridiculous. It may not be $300 everywhere, but at one time it was
expansion's okay. It adds a few things. It doesn't add $200 worth of things. That is 100% for sure.
Cool.
Awesome, guys. Cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on this podcast. We stream these Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. Come and try out chat sometimes. Come hang out with us in chat.
Yes.
Talk and banner. It would be really cool to see everybody out there. We have a lot more people that listen to us on the audio version of the podcast than watch us on the YouTube or like join us live. So hey, if you ever have a Tuesday night free or you just want to pop in, pop out, I mean, you don't have to be here the whole time. We just want to say hi. But it'd be cool to interact with you guys. You guys are all awesome. And if anybody wants to, we want to thank all of our patrons on Patreon. You guys are amazing. Thanks for supporting us on the Patreon. But yeah, do we want to do the thing, Rob, or is it too late at this point? You said next week last time.
It's up to you.
All right. It's been too long.
Are you doing it? Was
can't.
that the all right? Like you're doing it?
Dude, I am nowhere. I am not to that level of Super Saiyan. I tried. Matt knows I've tried. It doesn't work.
All right. I got this one.
So we're doing a Patron of the Week.
The Patron of the Week. You know what I love about this one? Is I don't even have to say much of anything. I just say the person's name and jaws drop. That's what I love about this one is, like you ever try to get into a club or you try to get into like a fancy restaurant or, you want to get into the White House or that secret meeting somewhere, or you want to go somewhere, or you want to be in first class on a plane, you drop this name, no more questions asked, no more things asked. They're just like, oh, okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. As soon as you drop this name. And I know you guys obviously know who I'm talking about. I mean, obviously, I've used his name or this person's name in the past, and I can't tell you how many free perks I got because I said I was associated with so-and-so. This person is an animal. And I mean that in all the right ways. He is your genie in a bottle. You want something? Boom. You drop this person's name, you got it. You're in prison and they're messing with you and you're listening to our show, you say so-and-so's coming, boom. They're now your hoe. They're the hoe. That's right. I said it. You don't even. I mean, I'm not going to say that. Never mind. I was about to say something. And I caught myself. But that's how powerful this name is. That's how powerful this person is. And obviously, I'm talking about none other than freaking Doug Hillman. Doug Hillman. Listen, his name used to be Mountain Man, but they had to change it because everyone was using it as like, oh, well, you need to achieve the mountain. He's like, listen, guys. Let me just break it down. Let me be a hill because he was freaking too many people out. Doug Hillman, you are a beast. You are that mountain. You are that Everest that me and us as individuals try to climb. We wish we could just reach the summit. You are amazing. You are that black credit card that has no numbers, no names. You just swipe it and you buy it. You want an island? Boom, Doug Hillman. You want a spouse? Boom, Doug Hillman. You want that new car, that new game? Boom, Doug Hillman. Next time you go into the store, your friendly local gaming store, your Target, Walmart, Barnes & Nobles, wherever you go online, you go into Amazon.com, and when they ask for your credit card information, just type in Doug Hillman. Watch you get it. Watch all of a sudden, boop, cleared. Free express shipping. You want it within 2 hours, boom, somebody's going to be knocking at your door at an awkward time to drop it off. Freaking Doug Hillman, you are amazing, and we can't thank you enough for blessing us with your presence. I mean, you take the time out of your crazy life to just say hi. That's awesome, man. You make our lives better. You make me want to be a better man, Doug. And the fact that you changed your name from Mountain Man to Hillman to help me out, to give me a glimmer of hope, that's even achievable just to climb your hill, that's baller, man. That's a sacrifice I'll never forget. We love you, Doug. We appreciate you. You're Doug Hillman. Boom.
Awesome, guys. Well, if you would like to support us on Patreon, make sure to check us out at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night.
I'm going to see this spider. I'm going to say Doug Hillman. The spiders are going to drop down dead. I just need to see it first.
Say his name.
Doug Hillman. Boom. Spiders are gone.
If you want to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Epic Gaming Night, you can check out the pictures and stuff of games we're playing and keep up to date with the show and stuff like that. Also, make sure to check out Writing.Newman and Shades of the Mind from Matt and Rob, because awesome stuff there. And also make sure to check out our Favorite Game Friday videos on the Dice Tower and things like that. And thanks, everybody. It's been a blast.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much.
See ya.
Bye. Peace.